What's up, everybody? It is the Beast, and welcome back to the Beast On. And this is Lil Beast. What's up? What's up, son? Yeah. And this video is the Beast On and Little Beast On. It's a beautiful day in your neighborhood. Is that what the movie was called?
Yeah, I think so.
The movie about Mr. Rogers. Maybe I got that right. Maybe I got that wrong. I don't know. Great movie. And here's our little review. First of all, gotta introduce Lil Beast, Zach. He's got his own YouTube channel because we're all performers in this household. Zach, tell the people about your YouTube channel.
Well, my YouTube channel it's all about college football. I love college football personally. I love the spirit.
Why are you wearing a stupid Gator shirt?
Why are you wearing a cane shirt?
Because I went to the U. What's your excuse?
I have no excuse.
He has no excuse, people. He has no excuse. I don't know. I can't control this. He does root for the Canes once in a while. So your channel, tell us about it.
Well, I talk all about college football. As I said, I love the spirit. I love the game. College football is just so great. And it's called College Football Talk with an exclamation point at the end because that's all about the exclamation
That's
point.
pretty original. College Football Talk, but with an exclamation point at the end.
I'm special.
Because you are special, because
So
you're
are
my
you.
son.
Yeah, so are you.
We'll put a link to his channel in the description so that we can get that. So, Zach, what'd you think of the movie?
Well, at the beginning, I didn't really understand it, because Mr.
Wait, let's
Rogers-
back up for a second. Sorry to interrupt. Have you ever seen an episode of Mr. Rogers?
I have not.
Okay, so you're too young for the Mr. Rogers thing.
Yeah.
So now, with that being said, what'd you think of the movie?
Well, I didn't understand the beginning because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't really know who Mr. Rogers was. But towards the middle, I kind of got it. Like, I kind of got... He's this really nice guy who just wants to be nice to everyone and just really wants to be kind. And that's a really good message nowadays, definitely.
Yeah, no doubt. Did you understand what they were doing? Whereas they were telling the story of Mr. Rogers, but they were doing it through the vision of this writer for Esquire magazine, who really was a person who had been doing all these exposés and tough pieces and investigative journalism. And here's his editor saying, "Hey, go cover the nicest guy in the world, Mr. Rogers." Because the editor was saying, you know what? Maybe you could learn from this assignment. Did you pick up on that?
Yeah, towards the middle of that segment of the movie, I really thought it was like this is like that was really cool how they did that because there's this guy who's basically the opposite of what Mr. Rogers does.
Yeah, it's a good pickup by you. That's nice job. Now let me talk about Tom Hanks for a second. And it's funny. Just before we started this video, I said I'm going to talk about Tom Hanks, and you said,
"Wait, that was Tom Hanks?"
Yes, it was Tom Hanks. Believe it or not. And I love Tom Hanks. I think he's one of the top 10 actors of the last 30, 40 years. Think about where he started as the guy on Bosom Buddies. It was show way before your time. And then, there was funny movies like Joe versus the Volcano and that movie with John Candy where they're in the Peace Corps and Splash and all that stuff. And then he goes into serious roles with Philadelphia, and there was Forrest Gump and all these great roles. And Tom Hanks has just such a variety of roles that he can play. He's so dynamic as an actor, and I really thought he pulled off Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, extremely well. Those of us that grew up watching the Mr. Rogers show, for a lot of the movie, I forgot that I was watching Tom Hanks, and I thought that I was watching Mr. Rogers. That's how good he was in this movie. Surely, I'm sure he'll get some Oscar pub, but he really did a good job of conveying the personality and the attitude and the nature of the character that was Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time that I saw Tom Hanks in a movie was about where the plane crashed into the Hudson.
Oh, that's right. He played Sully.
Yeah, that's where I remember that he was good in that movie. I thought he was really good, and that's the furthest back that I can remember watching.
Yeah,
that
because
movie.
you're not even 12 yet.
No, I'm not.
And I'm old! Now what? Alright, so here's the thing I didn't like about the movie. To be honest with you, Zach. I knew it wasn't a documentary, obviously. but I thought we would get more backstory on Mr. Rogers and more insight as to how he developed into the kind soul that he was. And you really just got a glancing pass at that. As his wife says, he reads scripture every day, he swims, you find out he plays the piano. But you really didn't get the backstory of how he was really just, he used to help on TV shows in Pittsburgh, and then he went to seminary, and all the stuff that he did in his life. And they kind of glanced over him as a father to two boys and the troubles that he went through on that. I would have liked to see some of those relationships and get more of those details and deeper into the life of Fred Rogers in the movie. Although, listen, it was a touching story. I don't want to spoil it for you, but really, you really look at it. The movie is all about the trials and tribulations of this writer, Lloyd Vogel, I think was his name. Was it Lloyd Vogel? Yeah. And what he went through in his personal life, and how Mr. Rogers kind of became almost like a father figure, an angel to him in a way. So it's a beautiful, touching story, but I would have liked to have, instead of using Mr. Rogers as the backdrop to telling someone else's story, I would have liked to have gotten more of the story about Mr. Rogers from the movie, and you just don't get that deep into it, aside from, his wife tells some details, or you get some details here and there, and they show some old clips and all of that stuff. Otherwise, it's really just about the person that Mr. Rogers is now. When I say now, I mean in the late 90s when the movie is taking place. So that's what you should expect when you go to see the movie. But overall, Zach, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give the movie we just saw?
I'd roughly give it an 8, 8.5. And I thought it was very interesting what you said about Mr. Rogers being a father.
Yeah.
I thought they kind of told that story through Lloyd being a father himself.
Ooh, good pickup by you. That's why he's in Gifted. So, you'd give it about an 8, 8.5.
Yeah.
All right, I'd give it about an 8. I think certainly, compared to some of the other movies we've seen lately, I thought it was very good. We saw Harriet yesterday.
That was a good movie.
Listen, my kid, of all the movies, I said, hey, what do you want to see? What do you want to see? He says, Harriet, about the Underground Railroad. And I'm like, that's my kid. So, a lover of history, did you think Harriet was good?
I really did think it was good, because it was, like, I don't know if any of you guys had recently seen the movie Midway. It was kind of like that, where they didn't really tell it as you usually see it as a documentary. They kind of showed it as basically telling a story about how Harriet Tubman became free and how she became the person that we all know her as a hero.
Yeah, no doubt. And I learned for the first time that she actually fought in the Civil War, like led an armed expedition in the Civil War. Harriet was a great movie. You should go see that one too. But and
Midway was also
Midway was good, although I thought it was too long. He wanted to see it again. I wasn't quite ready for that. We'll wait for that one to pop on our own TV downstairs. In any event, we had a good time seeing the Mr. Rogers movie. And would I see it again? Yeah, I would. I think it's a good, touching movie, good family movie. Nothing to complain about with the flick, other than I said I would have liked to gotten to know more about Mr. Rogers, but that's what Wikipedia is for, so I'll go Google that. And I'm sure there's a billion documentaries out there about Mr. Rogers that I can go watch. I just thought they would include more of it in the video. So, Zach, once again, talk about your YouTube channel, College Football Talk with an exclamation point. I'll put the link in the description. But
I'm special.
You are special. Are you gonna have hot takes tomorrow? It's Florida State.
Yeah, I think I just might. I think I might post.
Okay, you might post tomorrow. I'm definitely gonna post tomorrow for Miami Duke, and you can find way more videos, not just like this one, but like all sorts of stuff coming up on the Beast On. And don't worry. The production value is going to take leaps and bounds forward. We just ordered green screens and lights and lav mics and all sorts of stuff. This channel is going to be coming at you with the latest technology. It's going to sound great. It's going to look great. And it's going to have all the hot takes that I could possibly produce. And sometimes Lil Beast is going to join me. And say hi to Tom in the background. We're going to have Tommy in the background. Hi, Tom. Hi, Tommy. All right. For my son, Zach, a.k.a. Lil Beast, I am the Beast. This is the Beast on. Subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notified when we have new videos. And, of course, follow me on social media at Miami Radio Beast.
And, of course, he'll be popping into my videos sometimes, too.
Yeah, I'll see if I can grace him with my presence.
Yeah.
For now, peace.